So today let's bring everything together and focus on endurance. We're looking for fluid movement during day 5, and we're going to bring each of the exercises together to create this nice cohesive long practice. If at any point you feel like you need that rest, then you just take your foot off the gas, find your breath, find that connection, and then join back in. That's the beautiful thing about this challenge, is you can pause when you need to and then continue when you feel ready. So join me on the mat as we begin with dead bugs. So we're on our back, roll down to the ground, and then you're going to bring your legs into tabletop and arms over your shoulders, so fingertips reaching for the sky. We're going to send the right leg and right arm, extend it, should I say, reaching through the fingertips and the toes, and then drawing them back into center. Opposite side, extend and stretch, keeping the spine long and grounded. So I know I've gone on about it almost every challenge, but we are really trying to stay connected with the breath, that exhale as we really exert that effort, and that inhale through the nostrils as we ease off. You always want to maintain that level of control. One reason is because you're really focusing on the quality of movement. 2, the more you hone in on the quality of your movement, you're really focusing on one particular task. Last one, which helps drown out all the other stresses that you might be experiencing. Set the feet down, bring the thighs together, and send the arms out to your side. Take a nice deep breath in, twist over to one side, looking over the opposite shoulder. And then exhale as you draw the hips to center, and inhale as you come onto the other side. And the more you focus on one task and do it well, like I mentioned, you can drown out all the other stresses, de-stress. And it's almost like a form of moving meditation. That's how I look at exercise. If you're doing that thing, you're doing it well, that's exactly what meditation is. Whether you're focusing on a chant, sound bath, just focusing on the breath or visualization. In exercise, you're focusing on the movement, reducing the risk of injury, really engaging in what you're doing. Last twist on either side, and then bringing it back to center. Shake out the legs, shake out the hips if you need to, and then bring the legs to tabletop. Send the hands down by your side with length through the spine. Curl up for 100. Extend the legs a little bit more for a bit more of a challenge if you can, and then begin to pump the hands. 5 pumps on the inhale, 5 pumps on the exhale. Soft through the throat, squeezing the thighs in to really engage the inside of the legs, and then drawing your rib cage towards your hips to engage the abs. One more breath in, and pause. Draw the thighs in, grab behind the shin, and gently roll up to a seated position. Let's come on to all fours, and then send the hips up and back into downward dog. Spread the fingers, draw the belly button in, and you're pushing the hips up and back to find length. Inhale, send the wave through the spine, set the knees down, and then push the hips back for child's pose. Draw up onto all fours, send the hips up and back into downward dog. Send the wave through the spine, knees down, set back into child's pose. So transitioning through child's pose to down dog. And in your child's pose, you're trying to lengthen the lower spine, stretch out the soles of the feet. And in your down dog, you're finding length through the spine, each edge of the body, and the back of the legs. It's also a beautiful combination of movements to really connect with the breath. Last one, pause in downward dog. Reconnect. And then inhale, set the knees down. And then extend through the legs and come down for swan. So we're resting on the front of our body, forehead on the mat. Positioning your forearms below the shoulders. And then with the exhale, lift the head, find length through the spine, lift the chest off of the ground. And we're twisting as we lift the right elbow off of the ground, looking over the right shoulder. And then peel down through the spine. Forehead taps the ground. Exhale, lift, twist over the left shoulder. So we're looking for a gentle twist through the spine as we extend and lengthen the front of the body. Inhaling as we roll the spine back down. Exhaling as we extend through the spine. The last one. And rolling back down. From there, we are coming up and then shifting back into child's pose. Keep the feet flexed just to stretch them out. Then inhale, roll through the spine, laying back down on the ground, and then sending our hands down by our side. Forehead down, and we're drawing the feet and the thighs together, bending through the right leg, kicking twice, and then interlace the hands. Draw the hands down the spine, lifting the chest, and then rolling down, looking over the right shoulder, sending the hands high up the back, kick, double kick with the right leg, then lift and extend through the arms, roll down, look over the left shoulder, double kick with the left leg. Keep the core nice and tight. We're looking for stability through the spine as we double kick, squeezing the back of the thighs as we kick. So as we kick the right leg, we're looking over the right shoulder. And same for the left leg. I just did the same leg twice, that's okay. Roll up, big stretch, last one on both legs. One final extension, drawing the arms down and slowly roll down through the spine. Send the hands either side of the chest, flex the feet. Big push through the chest as we come into this kneeling plank position. Draw your navel into your spine. Push strongly through both arms. Inhale, lift the hips up and back into down dog. Gently walk the feet to hands. And then bend through the knees, coming into a seated position. Send the hands behind you. Fingertips facing your buttocks as you set your hips down on the ground. And feet hip width apart. Draw the shoulders down the spine, away from the ears. And then exhale, lift the hips off of the ground for tabletop or reverse tabletop. Sending the hips up as high as possible. And then floating the hips down to the ground. Tap the tailbone and lift. Loads of control. Stay connected with the breath. Pushing through both legs, squeezing the back of the thighs, squeezing the buttocks as you lift, opening the hips. Pushing strongly through both arms so triceps are working as well. Stay with me. Hips up. Last one. We're going to hold the reverse tabletop for 10 seconds all the way up. Working the upper back here to hold this position. 5 seconds to go. Stay with me slowly, floating the hips back down to the ground. Lengthen through the legs and then roll down through the spine. Set the hands down by your side and gently tuck the chin to find length through the spine. Lift the head slightly and then we're going to bring the legs into tabletop. So from here, we're going to extend the left leg and slowly lower down. Stretching the leg along the mat but not touching, and then gently pull up as though we're scooping the air from the top of our feet. Now if you want a bit more stability, then you can set one foot down on the ground through these single leg lifts. Nice sharp controlled exhalation. Work in the front of the body, keeping the spine stable along the mat. Last one, pull, bend, and then change side. You're really stretching through the extended leg, dragging the toes up the wall and ceiling to work the tops of the thighs. Soft through the shoulders, soft through the throat. Keeping the hips stable. And last one, bend and then roll down to the ground. Feet hip width apart as we come into shoulder bridge. Lift through both hips, squeezing the glutes, and then slowly roll down through the spine. Halfway, don't let the tailbone touch the ground, lift all the way and lower. So we're doing slight pulse through your shoulder bridge. Stay connected with the breath. Expanding the ribs out to the side, breathing into the base of the rib cage. Last one, all the way up. Roll all the way down to the ground and then draw both thighs into the chest. Lift the chest into your thighs. We're going to take the right knee with the left hand and draw it center chest, extending the left leg for single leg stretch. Take a deep breath in, pull thigh to chest, then exhale, switch. Really stretching through the toes and drawing the knee into the chest. You're really bringing that knee center chest to keep good alignment through the hips. Squeezing the top of that extended thigh, extended leg. Stretching the opposite leg. We're almost there. Beautiful, smooth, quality control. 3, 2, 1. Pull both thighs in and gently roll up to a seated position. Draw yourself to the top of your mat. Make sure you've got room behind you as you roll like a ball. We're bringing the heels into our buttocks, grabbing around the ankles or the back of the thighs, tilting the hips towards you to Draw your belly button into your spine and engage your core. Sit back onto your tailbone as you balance. Keep your shoulders relaxed and then roll like a ball. So you're trying to keep the thighs pulled into the chest and avoid kicking with the legs. You're looking for that inner momentum, that core engagement, smooth curvature of the spine. Last one, come up to your tailbone and then set your feet down. Roll down to the ground. Draw the thighs into your chest. Lift the chest into your thighs for double leg stretch. Sending the legs 45 degrees, extending the arms overhead. And then inhale, pull back in. Exhale, stretch. Circle the hands around, grabbing the ankles. Strong extension overhead. Nice and soft through the throat. Last one. Really stretch it out and draw the thighs in. One final breath in and set the feet down to the ground. Just quickly tuck this in. Beautiful work. Shake out the legs. And then we're going to bring the feet hip width apart. Engage the core, nice and long through the spine. Lift both hips off of the ground. And then we're going to take the right leg into tabletop. We're rolling down through the spine for single leg shoulder bridge. Tap the tailbone and lift. Peeling each section of your spine off of the ground. Keeping the hips level. Now that you've removed one leg, that's one point of support. What you're looking for is keeping the hips square. So that box that I've mentioned before is still facing upwards. So by that, there's just no twisting through the lower spine. You've got that nice neutral spine. Good posture. Last one. Roll all the way down, switch leg, and lift through the hips. Remember, you're looking for good articulation through the spine. Each section lifts off of the ground one at a time, and then slowly reconnect one at a time. Let's give this one more go, all the way up. Big, strong push. Slowly roll back down. And then set your foot down to the ground. Gently rock the hips side to side, just to loosen up before we move into our bridge. Roll onto your side. So you're going to want your shoulder over your forearm, and then bending through your knees, you're looking for stacked shoulders and hips. Lift through the hips, smooth, straight line through the spine. Keep your core engaged. If you're doing this from a bent knee position, you can keep both legs bent or extend through the top leg, or you can meet me with both legs extended and unstacked. If you're bent, if your knees are bent, then send the outside of the thighs down to the ground and then lift. If you've got this long straight line, then it's the outside of your calf muscle that taps the ground and then lowers down. Extend the arm up to the sky, and as you lift through the hips, reach overhead, pushing through the forearms to lift yourself out of your shoulder socket. Big extension, and reach. Exhale as you lift. Inhale to lower. Last one. And then roll all the way down. Switch side. So you have options from bent knee to straight legs. Remember, gently push through the forearm to lift yourself out your shoulder socket. Spine nice and long. extend the arm overhead. Inhale to come halfway down, outside of the thigh or the calves touching the ground. Then exhale, extend overhead. We're almost there. You've done beautifully so far. This is the last in the sequence of movements for this practice. Keep that quality high and that control through your movement. Stay connected with the breath. Last one, really big lift. Make this one count. And then slowly lower all the way down. Roll onto your front. And then set your forehead down on the ground. Forearms parallel. And then taking a breath out. Lift through the spine, stretching out the front of the body in Sphinx pose. Inhale, roll down. Push your chest and hips off of the ground. And then set your hips back into child's pose. And we're going to walk both hands off one edge of the mat. Anchor your hips into your heels for a side bend. Breathing to the outside edge of your body, opening up the ribs. And with the next breath in, walk the hands through center over to the other side of the mat. Try and relax through the arms, shoulders, relax the breath. One final breath in, come back to center. Feel free to be curious and adventure, swaying the hips from side to side before gently walking your hands back to your knees, rolling up to finish off this practice. Ooh, that was intense, slightly lightheaded there. Well done, beautiful work, really good effort today. I know I can feel the energy right through this camera. I want you to take everything that you've learned and discovered about yourself from this practice, really meditate on what works for you, areas that you need to improve on, and then take that lesson through to your next practice, and let's try and build on this foundation that we've been working on. Until then, you have a blessed day. Peace.